Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Coach Andres, coachingwithandres.com. And today, ladies, we're going to talk about a specific topic I've gotten a lot of comments and suggestions on before my previous videos. Today, we're going to talk about dating long distance. But before we get started, I would love and greatly appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Any comments and suggestions, any recommendations, of course, open to all kinds of criticism. Leave them below in the comments because I look forward to reading all of them. And yes, I do personally respond to all of them. So let's begin. Dating long distance. That's a tough one. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. And you obviously want to know exactly where you are in your life. You want to know where the other person is in their life. So that brings me to number one reason. Number one, let's call it rule in a sense. Your intentions. What are your intentions? Why are you purposely, voluntarily trying to have a more of a challenging, I wouldn't say complicated because that's just a negative word, challenging form of a relationship in that kind of environment, in that situation, long distance? Because obviously you see something special. You see that spark. You see that love, you see that connection, you see that synergy with that person. And obviously that person, that man, sees it with you. So that's why it's so paramount. It's so valuable. It's so important to be clear with your intentions. Don't get your hopes up. Don't look for false hope. Don't try to play games. Don't try to bring any unnecessary old past drama or stress to this situation because, again, you're purposely, voluntarily trying to choose a more challenging dynamic of a relationship. Honestly, that's very powerful. That's very courageous. That's very admirable. So you want to try to be real and honest and upfront with your intentions right off the back. In a sense, obviously letting the conversation develop to where there's a bond, there's a relationship, there's a mutual interest. Get that going in that sense. Let that develop. Let that marinate for a while and then be clear with your intentions. Because the hardest thing, and I've had a long distance relationship personally, and I've talked to a lot of women who've gone through that as well, is that they have unrealistic expectations with a long distance relationship. And that's going to disappoint you nonstop. You're basically almost self-sabotaging yourself with someone who you physically can't even see, physically can't even touch. And if we learned anything from this previous pandemic, contact is huge. Affection is huge. So again, if you're choosing to be a part of this kind of relationship, this challenging dynamic of a relationship, be honest with yourself. Be honest with your intentions. Communicate that directly to him about what you're looking for. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste his time. The distance already has enough time in the middle of it. So be honest with it. Let's see how he reciprocates with that. Let's see how mutually understanding he is. And if he's not, then I think you should move on. Try to maybe be more open to finding someone in the area, in the vicinity of where you are and where you live or where you work. Again, I'm not one to judge which relationship is best for which person. It's all about, again, the connection. So if you feel that, which you value, which I value, be honest with your intentions. Be honest with realistic expectations and communicate directly to that. All right? Number two. So if we're talking about honesty with intentions, honesty with expectations, right? With those intentions being clear, being vividly clear, crystal clear about what you're looking for, because again, the challenging dynamic that we're in. Communication, ladies, communication, no miscommunication, no nonverbal communication, none of that body language communication, unfortunately, because in that situation, it's not physically possible. Maybe through a Zoom call, of course, a video call, of course, but again, it's a challenging situation. It's a challenging kind of relationship. Again, that's why your communication with your intentions has to be clear, has to be honest, has to be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Don't get his hopes up. And you want to make sure that your communication is about not just your intentions, like we talked about number one, but about your goals, about your personal style, about what you want in life, about your experiences in your past. Almost to a point where like you're building a pen pal relationship, because those relationships with the distance already between it, again, I mentioned how challenging that is already. You almost want to be a little more open to talk about everything and anything. It's not like you're going to run into them. So, not to be insensitive, but you want to take those chances. You want to be a little riskier with that because you want to find, even to a point, is it worth the distance? Is it worth this challenge? Is it worth this dynamic? By being honest with your intentions, being honest with yourself. Don't hold back. Again, don't give them the whole book. You know what I mean? Give them a little chapter by chapter, but be as open, transparent as possible because you want to see if it's actually something worth to go continue through this challenge. You know what I mean? Obviously, with that connection happening, with the communication, the intentions are in line, then hopefully we can build something up to maybe meeting up one day or taking turns or meeting halfway. You want to find that out because obviously you're going to go through some traveling, physical expenses, physical choices, all those moments that you're going to make those plans. You want to see if the communication's in line. You want to see if the intentions are in line before investing in that kind of trip, in that kind of journey. I mean, love is a journey of itself, and it's very challenging. We can always say it's not about the final destination, but it is about the journey. So if you're going to put yourself on a journey with no contact, a long-distance relationship, and eventually if you connect with the intentions and the communication, and you want to plan a journey, trip together, or halfway, or take turns, find out right away if the communication's online, you're not afraid of who you are, you will love who you are, but you're not afraid of who you are, and you're honest with your intentions, and he sees that in the same way. All right? Number 3. But before we get to number 3, I actually have a special announcement. I have my very first product, How to Love a Man. And I worked really hard on this, and I thought about this in every way possible, and I thought, not only I hope this is helpful, I also hope this is therapeutic. I hope this makes you self-reflect about who you are, who you were, and who you want to be. So I would love for you to come check it out. Let me know again on the comments if you have any questions about it, but it'll be right there on the website, coachingwithundress.com. And just let me know what you think. Thank you. Number 3. And as well, before we go to number 3, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, the big like, the big smile. Share this video with anyone who you might know that might be in this scenario with long-distance relationships. And again, criticism, comments, suggestions, I'm open to all of it because I honestly, personally respond to each one myself. Creativity. You gotta be creative. You gotta be creative. Again, you're purposely, voluntarily putting yourself in this dynamic of a more challenging relationship. So you gotta be creative. You gotta be spontaneous. You gotta keep it spicy. You gotta keep it hot. With the video calls, with maybe writing a letter, postcards, Zoom calls, text messages, you got to think outside the box. This is not a typical relationship where you're normally comfortable in the box of your own city, your own town, your own neighborhood. This is already outside the box. So let's not play by the more typical, normal rules of a relationship. You got to think outside the box. So try new things, send little gifts. I mean, honestly, one of the women I talked to, she wrote a letter, handwritten in ink, 3-4 page letter to her lover and sent it in the mail. When was the last time you wrote a letter in the mail? Not a card, not a text, not an email. I mean a letter. And she was like, you know what? I'm almost about to a point because I'm in love with this guy. I'm about to write a letter, throw it in a bottle, and chuck it in the ocean because I think it's going to find him. And I was like, my goodness, that's a love that I don't even know how to relate to. That's amazing. But she's so romantic and so creative with it, it makes this dynamic work. And now they're building up this anticipation and suspense to finally meet each other. I know, right? That's how creative you have to get. If you're going to put yourself in this outside the box relationship kind of environment, then think outside the box. Be creative, be fearless, be honest, be clear with your communication, be clear with your intentions, and try to think outside the box with your creativity. All right? So again, if you have any questions, please leave any comments. If you're interested in any sessions, you can go ahead and check out where we have provided those services. It's an honor to be seeing you all again, and thank you again for watching. This is Coach Undress with coachingundress.com. And by the way, check out How to Love a Man. I really can't wait to see what you all think about that. Thank you very much.